Hello and welcome to my WIP and Chat. WIP meaning work in progress, and chat. This one I'm going to be talking about my life, little updates, rambly stuff, work, maybe self-care. I don't remember all the topics that I had set aside, but I kind of just want to dive in. My name is Marissa. I make a variety of diamond art content, and yeah. Consider subscribing, I guess. I am working on Inspired by the 5 Winds by Jody Bergsma, and it has been so nice to work on. There's 5 horses in the picture. I have an unboxing of it if you're interested in watching. I am using my brand new Firefly tray. I want a gift card in the Wings and Anythings event that House of Miscellanea, Miss Naomi, had hosted. I got the white this time. One, because I wanted to be able to show drills on camera and you guys be able to get a clear picture of the actual colors. It makes it a little bit easier to translate on camera that way. And 2, Miss Naomi over there, she works out of a white tray, and I just find myself staring at it because I love seeing like the pearlescent sheen on it, and I just think it's pretty. Sometimes I just like simple. I have my other Firefly one right here. This one I got in the Enablers Outpost mystery box for July. And then I decided I just like the Inferno. So both of these are the Inferno. It has a little trash tray. It has this. I think Naomi's, you pull it open and the spout is like built in. I have like the outer spout, which I feel like helps me do direction better because I shake a lot and I don't know, I guess I'm just messy. And then I've been using it for a couple days now, and the last 2 days I didn't really get to diamond paint. So I just really wanted to play with my new tray. And I am loving it so far, which isn't a surprise because I really like my mini. But look at that size difference. It's so cute. I absolutely love this size. All right. I am also using, I feel like this is taking forever, but that's okay. I am using my Enablers Outpost pen. When my hands start swelling really bad and start hurting, especially with weather change and raining, which both have been happening, the thicker pen tends to work better for me. I'm using the Diamond Art Club tips. I have a multi-placer. I don't remember the number of diamonds this is supposed to pick up. I think 8 or something like that, and a single placer. My favorite tweezers have been the Dreamer design ones that I got. I love them. They work better than the Diamond Art Club. And for my trash, I am using my Diamond Art Club thing for trash. I am using this one because my dog likes to try to help me diamond paint sometimes and pulled my canvas onto the floor while trying to jump up in my lap. So I just have the diamonds that I dropped and rinsed off in here. There's a little bit of rocks in there and some trash because it hit both trays and knocked them both over, but that's okay. So I have this just so I could use them. I think it's the symbol right here. So that's why I'm using so many trays today. And I just felt like talking about diamond painting stuff. I missed last week's WIP and Chat, and it kind of made me sad. I mean, I wanted to talk about Halloween, but now is it too late to talk about Halloween? I did kind of make a WIP and Chat last week, but I decided to not post it on the internet. It was just a little too angry on my part. I got upset about something and I just felt like it wasn't for YouTube ears. Like, that's not something I want my channel to evolve around. So I decided, you know what, just skip it. And that is what I did. But I do, from my little rant fest, put together another video that I will be putting together. I have to record it at some point this week, but it's not about exactly what I was upset about, but it has to do with altruism and just my thoughts about it. I went on a research deep dive with it, and yeah. So I'm kind of excited to do that video because that one actually has meaning, worth, and purpose. Like, I have a reason behind it because, I don't know, I just see altruism all over the internet and I just want to talk about it. And it's a little bit more positive and a little bit more what you could look for if you're looking for certain things from certain creators, and I found it interesting. But I don't know what to call it. I'm kind of thinking like my WIP and chats, I can have like WIP and opinions and stuff like that, but do I really want to keep everything? I don't know. They're all overall WIP and chats. I'm trying to find a new way to organize them. I might just keep the WIP and opinions, WIP and story times, which I need to record one of those soon. And I've decided I need to just do what I can. I've been working every day and I'm just mentally exhausted, which I'm allowed to be. And I don't ever take an account for the toll that working every day would take on my body, because it is a physical job and I'm not used to that anymore. And mentally, just constantly peopling and catering to others and socialized out. And I'm finding that diamond painting is my perfect like silent me time. So when I have been diamond painting recently, I haven't been recording, I haven't really been in the mood to talk, and I just kind of needed a little time out, and it worked wonders. I am feeling so much better. And I've decided I am going to just accept being inconsistent on YouTube right now. It is just the season in life that I'm in. When I started this channel, it was the only thing I had to do. I mean, it was just flat out my hobby. I had time to do all of the caregiving stuff for my grandma. I had time to do all of the projects and extra stuff with my kids. I had time to do deep cleaning sessions every day. And I'm learning now that I have 2 jobs and I'm working overtime that I took that time for granted, and I just realized how much I actually do. And I've been struggling a little bit, I guess. I don't know, sometimes, now this is a thing that I've learned in therapy, and I struggle with self-worth, and I put too much on my plate, and I tend to try to put my value in what I don't succeed in. Like, I'm super, super hard on myself, and I know some people can relate to that, so that's kind of why I'm talking about it, not to be a pity me story or whatever, but I just want to talk about some of the exercises that I have been trying to do that my therapist taught me and has worked through with me to kind of help open my horizons and see my value in everything that I'm actually doing versus what I think I'm not doing. So it's more of a, I don't know how to explain it. See, my therapist explained it so well. So I could see the reality versus what I tell myself. So the exercise is to either say out loud or write down all of the things you actually do and where you're investing your time, and then list out some of the positives and how that helps, 1, yourself, 2, others around you, 3, your situation, and 4, your environment. Because sometimes when you do stuff can affect all of those little aspects of your life. And those were specifically what I would down myself on. So those are kind of targeted. You could mismatch those and find different things that target and you tend to bully yourself on, or you think you're not adequate on. So yeah, I think I kind of want to show you a little bit of that exercise and maybe talk it out a little bit. I don't know. I thought it would be interesting to kind of show some of the coping skills and some of the stuff that I deal with. And I don't know, like, change for me can be hard, especially when I don't meet my goals, and I'm learning that that's fine. So what I do is I am obviously a mom, so all my time, or not all my time, I guess I should say, a lot of my time goes into making sure they are set up for success. Do they have their stuff ready for school the next day? Do they have dinner? What about their snacks? What about, you know, their fun activities? How they have their limited time on, you know, tablets and stuff. They have, you know, have they done their chores? Have we done our 30 to 45 minutes of reading? And then that's not even including the daily stuff that I have to do for my grandma. I am her caregiver, so I have to maintain her household on top of my household, which I love doing. And then I have to, you know, the bathing, grocery shopping, doctor's appointments, medical stuff, her dog, her backyard, my household, making sure all, like, I'm a control freak. Is something that me and my husband are working through. I like the way I do laundry. I like the way I do dishes, and I love sweeping. I can't stand doing dishes and laundry, but I like the way I do them. So I've kind of just made sure those are my job. Even when my husband tries to help, I tend to get a little feisty about it. And that's something else that I'm working on. And those are things that I contribute in and force myself to do when I have help. I have options and I can do that. So like seeing those things and saying them out loud and acknowledging my strengths and my weaknesses and what I can do to change it really helps me evaluate my worth and evaluate that I do a lot. I help my husband make advertisements. And this is not including the 6 nights a week that I've been working. So I just kind of wanted to say those out loud and realize that, yes, if I am 3 loads of laundry behind while my kids still have clothes, that's okay. When my husband says, hey, don't worry about folding that laundry. Why don't you sit down for a minute and let me? I'm allowed to say okay without feeling guilty. It is our household. We are a team. Like, I am not failing anybody by letting someone else pick up more responsibility. You know what I mean? Especially like when they want to. Does that make sense? Or do I just sound like a bitchy housewife? I don't know. But really not having the time I used to have and not meeting the goals I had set kind of messed with me a little bit, and I've been working it through therapy, and I did say all my stuff out loud, and then I also kind of wrote it in my journal just so I can see a little bit it physically, and it really honestly helped, and I see what I do, and then me and my husband talk about it, and he sees what I do, and I see what he does, and my grandma too. Like, sometimes it's okay to just step back. And then that kind of made me think about self-care and what self-care is versus what self-care social media tries to say it is. Self-care is your health overall, not spending $1 million for something that's going to make you feel okay for now. Does that make sense? Like, yes, this hobby is self-care, but buying the kits just to have new kits isn't. For me, doing the project, forcing myself to think about these things, processing emotions, and zoning out and getting some of that me time, whether that me time is me sitting in complete silence and not worrying about the needs of others, is what I need. Or maybe reminiscing and thinking of memories and stuff like that. Or maybe I have high anxiety, taking care of those. Self-care is making yourself a doctor's appointment to keep your health at peak. Or it could be 100% setting a sleep routine so you can make sure you're getting the adequate sleep. It's those types of things which could be completely free. It could be forcing yourself to make healthier eating choices, or even going for walks around the block so that you can ground yourself in nature and get that physical activity your body needs. So I've just kind of been separating what real self-care is versus what is portrayed online a little bit. I might do a whole video on it, but those are things that I've just kind of been ruminating on this week and trying to reground myself, reevaluate, and remind people it's okay to pause, take a step back. If something's not working, adapt, find something that is acceptable and still fulfilling, and find a way to process and move forward, I guess. Because I've been feeling really guilty for making these promises of being super consistent and realizing that I am just unable to keep up with that unrealistic expectation. And acknowledging it, adapting, and moving on. And I have been getting nothing but positive things for me just saying, hey. And I think communication with an audience, your friends, your family is just super important too. Oh no, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm so sorry. I've just got so lost in my brain. I'm sorry. Because yeah, I'm also learning stress just isn't for me. This whole election season and people jumping down each other's throats and the judgments and the unnecessary heightened stress, the people showing up at my house unannounced, the phone calls that I've been getting every day, the unnecessary text messages, and all of that was just getting to me. So I am, one, relieved that that part of it is over, and I hope that society starts to calm down a little bit. I hope everyone did their part and voted for what they believe is best. Honestly, I don't care who or what you voted for. It's not my business. I just hope everyone keeps things civil, whether people agree, disagree, or whatnot. And I am so ready for normal humanity to come back. It has been just stressful and the tensions are high everywhere, and it's just not been very fun, I guess. And I didn't realize how stressful it was until it was pretty much just over, I guess. My conclusion is I'm just going to upload when I can and be as consistent as I can, but not really stress too hard about it, because this is a hobby and I enjoy you guys. And the second I start thinking of this as like work or something that I have to do, it kind of changes that enjoyment. Yes, I have those thoughts of like, hey, I have to do this, but the difference is because I want to, and it feeds my soul, and it's a creative outlet for me, and I'm enjoying the community. I'm enjoying creating content. I enjoy the hobby overall, and I love the learning potentials for it. So that is what I mean by it. I have to do this, but I need to keep it fun and not set myself with unrealistic stuff, which I keep doing. And that's my fault. So let's move on from that topic and just kind of catch up, because yeah, how was your week? How has your week been? My week has been pretty good. I've had some work stuff happen. As I said, I've been working almost every day, and yes, I got tired, which is, acceptable. But I did work another function, only this time it wasn't for a charity, but it was just a crawl. It was a motorcycle pub crawl, and pretty much like little shows. So they would have different bikes set up at different bars and stuff, but our bar was like the main event. We had, of course, the vendors, we had tattoo artists, we had bands, we had all kinds of stuff. But unfortunately, we had to close down just over halfway through the event because all of our pipes decided to practically burst on the side of the bar and under the building halfway through the event. So that was kind of stressful, and it was like, oh, I'm sorry, everyone, you've got to go. Because, we had to turn off the water, and you can't safely run a whole bar that has a kitchen and obviously needs bathrooms, and we need water to wash the dishes to keep things sanitary. Like, you need water. So that sucked, and it was very unfortunate because it was a potential to just have a lot of fun and make a lot of money. Like events like that where it's not for a charity, we tend to make more money because it's just about having fun and enjoying your environment, listening to bands, going to the vendors, and just, it's a prowl, So that kind of sucked, because I was really looking forward to working an event and actually making some decent money versus it being more about the charity, which we already know. I love working charities, whether I make money or not. Those just feel good. But this one, I could have made so much money. And still, I did end up leaving with a decent amount, which is always a plus. But I also wanted to have more fun. Like my favorite band, it's a local band, was about to start. So we didn't even get to my favorite band. And that kind of sucked too. But you know what? Safety first, and I would rather shut down and people know that we're willing to keep their safety and our safety before making a ton of money, you know? So I can appreciate that, and I respect the decision 100%. It was stressful. It's like people were confused, and we still had groups and groups of people. Like, we turned away maybe 200 people as we were trying to close people out and get them safely into the parking lot and make sure everyone was breaking down and help organize everyone and all of that. And so it kind of sucked. It was like 200 people that we had to turn away, and it kind of sucked. But it is what it is. And we did call around to the other local bars around and find out where they were all heading, and kind of gave them a direction. So it kind of turned into a pub hop, kind of, not really a crawl to where there was like 2-3 places, and then ours was the final event. It kind of just went everywhere, which was pretty cool. So either way, it was saved. Oh wait, there's more. There's more. God, this kit is such a breeze to work on. I am enjoying it so much. Captured by Radiance really knows what they're doing. I guess I can talk a little bit about Halloween anyways. Yeah, it might be super past, but you guys don't know how it went. It was Charlie's first Halloween. Like, I don't really need to get into how the kids did. I mean, it's Halloween and the kids got to dress up. They made out like bandits, but that was a family thing and it was fun. Let's talk about Charlie. He did so stinking good. He wanted all the pets, all the love. He didn't bark or get scared or lunge or cower or anything like that with all of the kids walking around, all of the costumes. There was all kinds of decorations that would like jump out and spook you and stuff like that. And he didn't react really at all. There was only one thing that he kind of was like, I don't know about that. That seems a little weird. And it was a giant Oogie Boogie, you know, from Nightmare Before Christmas. And it was huge. And not only was it huge, it like would mechanically light up in different ways from the different ways that it would move. Does that make sense? So like if it was going up and down, I think it was yellow and orange. And when it started going side by side, it would turn like purple and blue. And then it would kind of do this around thing where it was like orange and red. And my dog was like, okay, that's a lot of movement for something that big and it's very bright. And it had like sound effects connected to it. So that one was the only thing that he was kind of like, no. But there was a blow up inflatable cat thing that moved that he kind of just stared at and was like, why is it doing that? But it wasn't like a scared thing. It was the head tilts. You know how German Shepherds are known for the head tilts when they get excited and they're trying to figure something out? That's what it was. And he was like, okay. And then we were able to move past it pretty quick after he got his curiosity filled. And I just kind of let him process it and see what it was and kind of hang out, and it was pretty cool. One funny thing did happen with Charlie is he loves toddlers. That is the one time he will fully break. Like if I have him sit, stay, or sit and wait. Babies are his weakness. Like he will not like just sit and wait patiently. And I'm working on that because, of course, as a mom, I also understand I don't want this big old dog coming up and waggling and being a big dummy. So we're really, really, really working on it. But he knows he's not allowed to. So some boundaries have been set. So what he does now is flattens himself on the ground and tries to move like a wet seal on the ground and like Superman and just like crawl and scoot towards the babies. So he's like, I'm being as friendly as possible. I'm tiny, I'm not scary, and I'm a big dum-dum that just wants your love. And he will kind of like whine a little bit and be like, just love me. And babies are his weakness. So he did that towards a like 1-year-old little baby toddler and was just, you need me to come up and give you love type of attitude. And luckily, the mom saw the whole thing and saw me trying to get him to focus on me and do a few sits and downs and make him pay attention to something other than the baby. So she eventually walked over and was like, okay, can we introduce them? And he was thrilled. I could see him. His eyes got all big and he's like, I can really do it? Like looking at me like, please just say the okay. Let me say hi to this baby. And finally I was like, all right, Charlie, okay, you can say hi. And he flattened himself so far to the ground and was like, love me, and started licking the baby's feet, which, well, I guess the shoes or whatever, just the top, and he started rubbing his nuzzle like up and down the baby's legs, like trying to be as gentle and tiny as possible. And she was like, okay, well, it looks like you have the world's friendliest, most pathetic shepherd I've ever seen, and they love each other. So she actually walked with us for a long time afterwards, and he, like, the baby ended up having to go into the stroller, and he was like, you know what, I'm used to my kids. I don't like to say my kids' names on the internet. I'm gonna cut that part out because I don't want to say their names. But my daughter and my son are used to him, so they would pat him on the head and go up to the new house to trick or treat. And then Charlie was just right there with the crib. Oh, no, that is called a, what is the walking thing called? Wow. I've had 2 kids. Stroller. That is called a stroller. Wow, my brain said nope. But yeah, no, he wanted to be near that stroller. He wanted to be with that baby the whole time. But before that and after we had our moment with the stroller and the baby and whatnot, he was so good. Like, he got it pretty quick. He would walk up to a house and fully stop and finally be like, hey, I'm going to sit here while they go get their candy. And he was just such a polite pup. And groups of people would want to come and say hello. And if it wasn't with the baby, he was so good. He would just sit there and let him pet and do his happy wiggles the whole time. And we love happy wiggles. I know I have a fly in my house and I can't seem to catch it, to kill it. And I just, at this point, have accepted that he's part of the family for a little bit until I can find my salt gun. I have a salt gun that I shoot flies with, and it's kind of like a mini hunting trip in my house, and it's a lot of fun. Weather change, it's been raining, and honestly, just flies happen. It's part of a life. And there's one that just really wants to get on my damn nerves, and it happens. But I'm not gonna catch it or try to catch it anymore and try to find it because it only pops up when I'm not hunting for it. And I wanted to record this today. I actually picked up my laptop to not edit, to not put together a video. I just got the itch to write. Like, I miss writing and I don't do it like I used to. Like, I've written a couple books. And yes, I know if you see my comments or my post, my grammar is atrocious, you know. That's why we have Pro Writing Aid and Grammarly. And on top of that, I hate typing on my phone. And frankly, that's where I do all my comment responses and stuff like that. And it's just, I'm lazy. So my grammar is atrocious, I know. But I actually sat down and was just wanting to write. And I started looking at different prompts. And it just felt so good to build a little character profile and a small skit and whatnot. So I think I need to make it more of a priority to do it, even if it's 15 minutes a day of just free writing, and it could be just a little scene or whatever. I opened my Scrivener. Scrivener is a writing program that is specifically for writing, and one of my favorite things, honestly. And it has been so long that I have forgotten some of the main things on how to even work Scrivener. And that's how I know I have been dropping the ball. Like, yeah, I would open up a Google Doc and kind of just do a little something something there, or I'd write in my journal, and that'd be like a personal journal thing, which I guess is still writing, but completely getting lost in your imagination sometimes just feels really good. And I needed that, so I might do like 15 minutes a day or something and look at the prompts, because if you're into writing, there's this website called Readsy, and you could sign up for their newsletter and they'll send you prompts, like, I don't know, a couple times a week. Sometimes it's every day, and they have writing competitions, and you could win money for it if you enter, or just do them for fun, or little exercises and practices and stuff like that. And I haven't really done so many like prompts and stuff yet, so that was really fun and entertaining for me. And I think I want to do that. Like, I might come up with like a bunch of little short stories, or they'll probably end up being absolutely nothing, but it's still just, it's a really good exercise for my brain and like a nice creative outlet. And I also just kind of miss it. Like, I started YouTube again because I needed a break from writing, because I wrote 3 books practically in 1 year and discovered I absolutely hate editing, so they'll probably go nowhere and never be published. But they're a lot of work. I mean, they're 100,000 words each, so that's no freaking joke. And I'm an outliner too. My outlines end up being anywhere from 40 to 60,000 words. And then my writing was about 100,000 words. So that's just a lot. And maybe one day I'll go back and like edit them and see what I could do to make them better. But I don't know. It was just so much fun. And I guess a long story short is I miss them. I miss writing. I miss making my own little friends and putting them through a horrific experience and then making their life better at the end and more happy with a giant lesson learned. My neighbors are doing construction, and I'm super excited for them because they deserve it. But at the same time, I'm not used to having so much traffic. Ooh, I kind of want to go back onto the topic of Charlie. I know, I'm everywhere. My ADD is ADDing, and that's fine. I have started doing the back to basic training. I mean, yeah, he knows all of his basics, but since he's turned 1 year old, he's just been a little stubborn, wanting to push boundaries a little bit, a lot more independent. He's just getting a little bit more stubborn. So sometimes I think reinforcing those basics, reinforcing our bond, because consistent exercising is also like a fun bonding time for us. Like, I make it fun, I get excited, I jump around when he does extra good, and make sure that when I tell him to come, it is the most exciting thing in the world. And he knows he's going to get the best praises when he comes, you know. The sit, the stay, the wait, the differences between the two, puppy push-up, going through doorways, meeting people, and desensitizing them to movements, noises, different environments, and those types of things. So we are going back to the basics. And I've been doing about 30 minutes to an hour a day with him. Today, we got a whopping 1.5 hours in, but that was kind of on accident. I took him to the park to do a walk and some just basic commands to kind of get used to walking around other dogs in a different environment, not just our neighborhood, and also not just like Home Depot, because dogs are allowed there. And then my husband called and said, hey, I need eggs and some just basic groceries, and what are we gonna do for dinner? And I was like, all right. So I did it. I was the asshole that took my dog to the grocery store. Yeah, I know it. I don't like it when other people do it too, and it made me feel bad. And then I wasn't gonna go inside. So what had happened was I went to the front and I was like, do you know what? I can't bring myself to bring him into the store. So I had us up in the front of the grocery store where the carts are for the entrance, and had people go and get their carts so that he wouldn't react to, you know, the carts are big, they're clunky, they're noisy. Some people have kids, some people bring their own bags, some people are boisterous and excited to see a dog, other people are reserved, there are other service dogs and stuff like that. It's just a really good spot to desensitize and train. So I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to do that. And he did so good. He was super excited at first and was kind of like mooing and whining a bit because he wanted to be the center of everyone's attention, which every once in a while he gets the hair up his butt. Like, I am everyone's world. And I kind of reinforced and reiterated to him that that's not how you behave, and people are not in this world to pet you. Like, I'm sorry, you could be the world's friendliest dog, and that's not why they're here. And eventually, it was like 5 minutes of super excitement. He did so good in the front of the store. And then, of course, my favorite people are working because my grocery store is full of all my best friends. Like, I absolutely love my grocery store so much. I love everyone that works there. I know them all by name. And, well, they all heard I was working. And, of course, they started coming out individually. And finally, they're like, we know you need something. Like, you need something every day. You go to the store every day. Like, what are you here for? And why aren't you going shopping? Like, talk about getting called out. And I was like, you know, my husband needs eggs and bacon and he wanted me to figure out dinner, but he is not a service dog. Like, yes, he comforts me. Yes, I feel safer in public with him, but he's not like the technical term of a service dog. And I feel really bad. Like, I should have just taken him home, but this also turns into a great, you know, experience to train him. And they're like, honestly, Marissa, it's not busy. We can see that he is really well behaved. He's got a really good temperament. Like, everyone that's come inside is talking about the amazing shepherd out front and all the love that he wants to give. Like, come in, get what you need, and go home. Like, stop overthinking it. Is your dog going to eat our produce? I was like, no. Is your dog going to pee in our store? Well, no. Is he going to jump over anyone? No. Is he going to jump on an old person and break their hip? Absolutely not. Like, he is more well-behaved than one of the service dogs that's an actual service dog that comes in. You'll be fine. And I just did it. I went my grocery shopping and I was shocked. He just intuitively knew what I needed. Because my luck would be, like, we'd get inside and it'd be a new environment and he would just turn stupid. I like to slowly introduce new environments, you know, especially because this one has all of the smells and it has all of the food and just exciting things like that. It has the clinks of that. It has carts. It has just stuff that's different. You know what I mean? So I was just a little nervous. I didn't want him to... He gets very vocal when he's excited. Like, he just talks and talks. And I don't want people to think it's like, oh, well, that dog's misbehaving because he's vocal. You know, when he gets excited, he moos and yawns and yowls and gargles and yodels. And it's not something I can fully control. He's just obnoxious sometimes. And that comes with his age, too. So I was like, great, great. He's going to not want to sit down when I'm looking at cartons of milk. He was totally fine. Every time I would walk up to an area when I was looking for lunch meat, he just sat next to me and just stared at me. And it made me feel goofy for being so worried that he wouldn't behave like that, because that's the way I make him behave in every other store we've been to. Ace, Home Depot, Lowe's, when I go pick up my check on the patio, work, like when I go to pick up the kids from school, when we go to the dog park. In my head, the grocery store is so off limits. Like, it's a grocery store. Like, you need to not only be exceptionally behaved, you need to be extra exceptionally behaved, you know? So I overstressed myself and everyone loved him and he thought he was the king of the world. Everyone absolutely adored him. He got so much love and so much attention and I felt silly at the end. I was like, oh. They're like, please bring him back again. And I was like, I don't know if morally I could do that. Maybe on specific, like, slower days, like a morning, like a random Wednesday morning or something. I don't know, but apparently my dog is now wanted at my grocery store. So there's that. And I was like, no, blah, blah, blah. And like one of the main managers was just like, Marissa, shut up. I'm like, well, that's not very custom servicey of you telling me to shut up, but okay, I'll shut up. It was funny. It was funny. I was just impressed. I guess all my hard work is paying off, and I guess some of it comes with me being super hard on myself. Like, I don't ever want to be a burden, I guess. But, I mean, I do have to also acknowledge that he is still a puppy. He is only 1 year old. And I also want to be respectful of everyone else's boundaries around me too, I guess. Like, I understand not everyone likes dogs, and there's definitely a huge stigma about dogs being in a grocery store, and I was like, fuck. I don't want to be that asshole. And I was that asshole. And do you know what? Everyone loved him. Talk about anxietying. But yeah, no, it's been nice going back to basics. Also, I kind of like, if money ever frees up more, like, yes, it's loosening. Yes, I have 2 jobs. Yes, business is picking up again for my husband. I kind of want to pay for another 12-week round of training. Like, of course, he'll be in the advanced class again because his training is advanced and he's graduated all of his trainings that I've put him in. But I'm thinking if once a year I do it, it's 3 months, once a week, extra socialization with the other dogs there, plus with the environment of a pet store and other people and new people and things like that is just a good reinforcement. Because in my opinion, dog training doesn't stop. Like once your dog's trained, you have to maintain it because your dog can all of a sudden forget how to do it or not take you seriously. And when you really need them to listen, they won't. And like those types of things. And I don't want that situation. I have in the past, I'll admit, been an irresponsible dog owner to where I'm like, okay, I did the puppy stage, my dog's trained and we're good. And I kind of quit. And then I always have regretted it and felt like I've had to start completely over. Or something would happen where I'd really need him the dog to fully behave, and it's something that we've gone over, but they were a puppy and we haven't done in years, and I need it at that moment and it doesn't work. Because 1, they don't remember, or 2, they've lost that bond or that need or that want to make sure they're listening. So I'm really just focusing on the importance of that. And also, it's fun. Like, I forget sometimes, like, yeah, it's work. Yeah, it's time out of my day, but it's just fun. I feel so chatty today, guys. Like, I miss one WIP and Chat, and I'm like, I miss you. Oh, and if you want to know what the canvas is underneath here, it is the one from Diamond Art Emporium, and I'm going to be going back and forth between these 2 canvases. I also kind of am testing out how I like working on multiple canvases. Like I've done it before, but I haven't done it a lot. And man, chatty McChat. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to be doing close to maybe once a year doing 3 months of actual training in a setting with guidance and just reinforcement work. Just because I think it'd be good for me and the dog. You know, just like a good consistent thing. Consistency is key, I've learned with owning a dog, especially like a large breed dog. I want to do the best by him. Like I've learned from past mistakes. I'm not saying I was a bad dog owner. It's one of those things where you wish you could have been better, and I don't want to have that regret. Also, I've kind of been thinking about doing like a small social media detox. Like just not pay attention or log out of Facebook for a week and Instagram and all the places I kind of lurk and linger, and just like, of course I'll still respond to my comments and still make videos, but I think I need just to reset and step back sometimes. Like I'm on my phone more than I want to be, and I could take those minutes to really, I don't know, spend more time with the family, I guess. I don't want to be the person that just has her phone in her hand 100% of the time consistently. And yeah, and that's kind of what I feel like it's turning into right now. But I think that also is because I'm working. So I'm just trying to reevaluate my time management, because before I was working, I would always at nighttime around 5, maybe 6 o'clock at the latest, just completely put my phone away. And that would be my family time. That would be my, I do whatever else. I don't focus on YouTube stuff and like that. But now that I have the 2 jobs, I don't have that specific decompress, put my phone down and just not social media and not internet. So now like my free time is back and forth. Like when the kids are entertained, instead of fully joining them every single time at night, I'd be like, oh, you guys can do that. I'll set it up, do it with them for a little bit, and then I'll find myself on my phone. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that. They still get their individual time, and they still get their, reading and fun time. It's just, I find myself being a little bit more distracted than I used to be and that I want to be. So that's what I'm thinking is, every once in a while or every couple days or so, just not. And I could always catch up on responding to people. I could always catch up on, you know, Facebook posts and what's going on, and just kind of prioritize time differently than what I'm doing. I guess it's just all about adapting and figuring out new systems and things, especially when things do change as much as they have for me recently. And this is just like kind of what I've been thinking about over the weeks of this and all of that. Like, I just don't want to take away what I've already established with my kids. You know what I mean? I guess I get that unnecessary mom guilt, and it kind of goes into that self-care of prioritizing and what's best for me mentally, physically, emotionally, you know. So, yeah, I guess I can stop contemplating about that. I still get my time with my husband, although sometimes when I get home late, he's already sleeping on the couch, but he tries. Like, we still try to watch our shows at night. We're still watching Alone, but we've watched almost all of the seasons. We did watch them out of order, which kind of sucks, but we did accidentally skip a season, so we went back and watched that. And then we even watched Alone Frozen too. They also now have an Alone like skill set competition thing that I want to watch. So yeah, I'm sad that that's coming to an end. And we did finish all of our Ghost Adventures. And speaking of shows, I am on the final season of Buffy, and I thought I would just sit there and binge it, but I almost don't want it to end, and I almost don't want to know, so I'll like watch an episode here or there and be like, okay, it's getting closer. Every episode that I watch is getting closer to the end, so I'm kind of savoring it, but I do need to just finish it, because I know Naomi probably wants to do a last Buffy one so that I can start watching Angel. And then we could have like Angel trivia too. I know Angel, she likes Angel more than Buffy, so I'm kind of intrigued and interested to see if I will too. And yeah, so I am back on the Buffy kick. I did have a little break from when I canceled all my subscriptions, but yeah, see, now my fly is back. I need to get my salt gun. It's gotta go. That's what I'm gonna do after I'm done recording this. I was going to record my altruism video today, but I forgot today's a school day that's a half day. So I have to go get my kids soon. So I don't think I'll have time to record that today. I'll record it tomorrow, and I'm gonna be working on my other canvas for that. I feel like I just completely unloaded, and I feel so much better now that I've recorded something and got to get my random life stuff out of the way. Books. Ooh. Y'all know I go through books pretty quickly. I finished all of the Zodiac Academy worlds, even Darkmoor. I think we talked about that before, like 2 weeks ago. And then I started reading some motorcycle romance books for just, you know, people like the trash TV and reality shows, or just something that's just completely ridiculous, easy to read. Like, that's my motorcycle club smut books for me. And I read like 9, or listened to, I guess I should say. I want this fly to die. I need it to go away. It's just the one. Oh, what was I saying? Yeah, so like that's kind of the trash TV of me. And I read 9 books of this series. Oh, what is it called? Or who was it by? It was in with the Audible Plus, and so it was free. I didn't even have to buy anything. Oh, Ryan Michelle. She's the artist, and it is the Ravage MC, and there is Ravage MC, and then they also have a Bound series. They're kind of interconnected. It's like first generation, second generation type of things, but I went through like 9 of those books so fast. They're short. They're what I considered one-day reads. I tend to read things on a really high speed. It's just the way I process things. I don't know if it has to do with my ADD or what, but I can't ever just listen to something on 1 speed. It drives my husband insane. I mean, unless it's like regular TV or shows and stuff. But for like YouTube or listening to books, since I am limited on time and I can only get it in like an hour, maybe 2 most a day, I have squeezed by just a little bit more. I've been doing it on my drives to work and from work. And if my husband's asleep, instead of watching a show when I get home, I will listen to the book. Anyways, Yeah, 9 of those books, trash TV, smut, good, easy, to the point, and just entertaining. I can't say it's the best writing. I can't say it's the worst writing, but at the same time, I think writing and what you perceive to be good or bad is on an individual level. What I thoroughly might enjoy, you might think is the stupidest thing in the entire world. And I think it's very much like an individualized thing. So yeah, that's just kind of my book journey as of recent. I'm kind of in the mood for a darker romance, maybe modern and just in the now world, maybe like an office romance or something with smut, of course. But I think I need a full break from some fantasy, even though, yes, the motorcycle club fantasy thing, like there was no fantasy in that. I didn't end up reading the other series I had talked about. I mean, I've read most of those books anyways. I think I'm down to like the last book of the series. I didn't want to spend my credits yet because I'm hoarding them. I don't know why I'm hoarding them. I think because every time I spend my credits is when I'm like, oh, I wish I would have gotten this book. And I don't want to do that. But when I have the credits, I'm like super picky choosy. And I'm like, no, I'm not buying anything. It's ridiculous. It's part of that fear of missing out mentality. But that's okay. What have you been reading? Are you a big reader? Do you do that stuff? Also, I am enjoying looking over all of the answers for the survey that me and Naomi, House of Miscellanea, have spreading around right now. And they're just entertaining. I absolutely love the involvement we've gotten so far. We have over 50 answers. And I think I'm to the point where I'm going to start asking other creators to share it on their platforms too, if they're interested. So if you're a creator, go ahead and share the link and, participate. Like, let's get as many answers as possible as we can, because I mean, it's fun. Some of the favorite answers that are coming in are about like what people expect or want from unboxings, or the FOMO answers are very, very strong-willed and filled like with, I like this, I don't like this, and it's just straightforward. And then, what is another one? Also, the saturation about YouTube, like, is YouTube oversaturated? I'm loving those answers too. It's just been so much fun to see all of the different perspectives. Like, so if you are interested in participating, please take the survey, but also share it. I haven't gotten the guts to share it on Reddit yet, but eventually I will. I don't know if I'm allowed to. I hope they accept it, but if they delete it or say, hey, you're muted, you're not allowed to share this here, I'll understand. I also kind of want to see if there's any like Facebook groups that want to share it too, because I think the more we get, the more we'll be able to evaluate. And then also for the creators, like, it kind of gives us a consensus overall of what the community wants to see from us in general. So that's also kind of why I want to do it, so we can make sure we're fulfilling their needs and what they value in YouTube content for this community. And I find that super interesting too. So yeah, I guess I'm having fun with that. And I think we decided that February 1st is when we'll shut it down and maybe launch a new survey while we go over the answers for this one. So I'm enjoying it. I didn't think, like, I knew I would have fun seeing the answers for this. I just didn't think I would enjoy it this much so soon, because it'll be live for so long. The answers are good. And then I think I'm just gonna leave it there. I do have a plug that I want to say, hey, I am still doing the benefits series, and I just want to help share the word of the benefits of having a hobby in general, or a hobby like this can be for some people. And I want to help share your story, because if someone's struggling, at least what I think I gain out of it is I don't want anyone to feel alone, or maybe they don't know other people are struggling with certain things, that this could benefit them or bring them a community or new friends, or just get the feeling of them not being alone, or just in general, sometimes it's just nice to know that, hey, there are true benefits to this, especially if you have someone in your life saying, hey, what's the point of doing that? I don't know. I just feel like it's more, and I also like just sharing stories and telling things, and I don't know, I really think it could be beneficial, and I still love this series a lot. I haven't really been plugging it much, I got a little discouraged, but I'm reinvigorated, and I really think that it could be beneficial just to talk about some positives on how this hobby can help you. So if you're interested in sharing your story, my email is diamondsandthoughts@gmail.com, and just shoot it my way. I can keep you anonymous. Oh, it's been so long since I've plugged that. I'm going to leave this here, and I hope you have just a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day. I got that little saying from Alexandra Ryan. She does a ton of unboxings. I have been watching her for years. My favorite is her advent calendar stuff that she does every year, and that's coming up soon, so I'll probably be binging her content very, very soon. All right, I will talk to you guys soon. Consider subscribing. Thanks. Bye.